Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's talk a little bit about price action, specifically for the most notable cryptocurrencies out there. Number one, of course, XRP. Now, this is an XRP-centric YouTube channel here, but we do have to talk a bit about Bitcoin because every cryptocurrency out there that isn't Bitcoin, I'm sorry, I don't like it either, but it does follow the price action of Bitcoin. Not forever. Eventually there will be a decoupling. That's my firm belief, but not today. It's just happening slowly over time. So I'm going to run through a bunch of scenarios. Now, I still suspect that we haven't seen the worst in terms of price action. And I say that, well, I want to be clear. I don't have a financial background, not offering financial advice. I don't pretend to know how to read a bunch of charts and stuff like that. I just track fundamentals. Part of the reason that I say that, if I had to guess, it's really based on what I'm seeing from most chart analysts out there, which is still primarily a little bit bearish. But even so, in the short term, there's multiple chart analysts out there saying, hey, we may see a rally. Now, some of them out there believe it's a rally and then we're off to the races. Hey, it's going to be all smooth sailing from there. But many say, no, more of a relief rally, going to go downwards. So I want to share a number of different opinions with you in this video from various chart analysts. But before I go any further, if you would please delicately tap that like button, and if you are a fan of Ripple and XRP, son, you done came to the right spot. Go ahead, do yourself a favor, subscribe to the Moon Lambo channel. And if you do, everything will be alright. So right now the crypto market cap is sitting at $192 billion. Bitcoin's at $7,345 as XRP's at 19.4 cents. And of course you can see the weekly charts, other than Tether, they almost look identical. Not surprising, not too much to talk about in terms of 24-hour price action, mostly trading sideways. But here, take a look at this title from You Today. Bitcoin price may never be under $6,000, says head of Capriole Investments here. Now, today, Charles Edwards, head of Capriole Investments, says that Bitcoin has entered a potential 50 times profit cycle. Yeah, that would be rather massive. I'll just say that. Mr. Edwards announced that he noticed an extremely rare indicator in Bitcoin's network difficulty. He calls it the hash ribbon and has proven that it only occurs 10 times in the blockchain's overall history. They meant occurred, but this is crypto media. They wrote occurs instead of occurred with an ED. Whatever. Just publish it, put it out there. Moon Lab was going to cover it and correct it. But you don't have to worry about it. It's essentially a draft what you put out here, and there we are. The rest of the world gets to see it. Here's the actual tweet from Charles Edwards. Hash ribbons buy confirmed. This is just the 10th time these conditions have been met for Bitcoin. It is highly likely we will never see Bitcoin under $6,000 ever again. All other occasions saw an average gain to cycle peak of 5,000%. Now is the period to buy Bitcoin and never sell. And again, that's a tweet from Charles Edwards right there. Cite. So like I said, not everybody's saying, hey, things are going to get a lot worse, but some people do believe so. And so conceptually, that's quite interesting. Now, Charles Edwards traced this indicator back for years and has published his analysis on his TradingView blog. In doing so, Mr. Edwards predicts a 5,000+% bull rally for Bitcoin. Mr. Edwards' suggestions are based on the research of Bitcoin's hash rate dynamics. Now, of course, and here's the thing. Like I said at the outset of this video, of course, Bitcoin's leading all of this. Given that humans are not willing to parse out the difference between cryptocurrencies, everything else that still exists, all those other cryptocurrencies, should be along for the ride. Now, that's not financial advice. I'm just sharing with you what I expect will ultimately happen here. And given that's the case, you might be like, well, Moon Lambo, why not buy a smaller cap coin? Yeah, well, okay, but I don't know when humans are going to start parsing out the differences, and I don't want to time the market and track that type of stuff. I'm just going to go with my investment thesis of utility matters, and we'll win the day. To me, that makes sense. Not telling you what to do. I'm just sharing with you my humble opinions on that. Next, here's a tweet. Not a tweet, I'm sorry. This is an article from News BTC titled, Bitcoin chart printed this bullish signal as price retook 7,400. And I'll tell you, I didn't pull this up primarily because I wanted to cover it, but just to highlight another terrible crypto media error. Look at the formatting on this. All the words are to the very left. I mean, if you're driving, don't worry about it. I'm just pulling this up purely, explicitly to make fun of this. I'm sorry, but author Nick Chung, after you uploaded this, you clearly did not click on the article to make sure that it was formatted properly. It's all the words to the left until you get down to a certain point. And that's pretty much it there. Like, reload the damn page. I understand that you just wrote a draft, but at least make sure that it's displaying properly. I guess nobody let you know. I'm sorry, I gotta make fun of crypto media. It's not coming from a mean place, it's just kind of comical to me because it's just over and over and over again. It's like media, but not real media, not professional media. And it's not just this website. It's pretty much all of them. Now take a look at this from Daily Huddle. Crypto Titan calls Bitcoin boom to $12,000. Who do you think they're talking about here? They're talking about Mike Novogratz. Now, I remember talking about where he thought the year would end. It must have been, I don't know, maybe June or July. I'm just pulling from memory. It was probably around that time. And he was saying that he thought probably towards the end of the fourth quarter, maybe mid-December. I remember highlighting this as like, well, he's saying this and we can track it. Well, we're about the end of December, so let's report back. He was saying that he thought that the price of Bitcoin would get back up to its all-time high by that time period. Did not happen. See, this is why I am happy to not make price predictions. I'm never going to make a price prediction. First of all, it would be disingenuous because I know that I don't know where the price is going. Like, I am very upfront about that. I don't want to pretend to. I don't do chart analysis. And so not only do I not know, if I did it, inevitably it would come back to bite me in the butt because I don't know what I'm talking about as it pertains to price action. I don't know where it's going to go, and then I'd just be embarrassed. So instead, I'm just going to stick to fundamentals because that I do know, and I believe utility matters. Hey, I'm making up words here. And so ultimately, I believe that we'll see positive price action. To me, it's just a matter of time. But take a look at this. The CEO of crypto investment giant Galaxy Digital says he expects Bitcoin to rally at least 61% in 2020. Are you sure about that? You're pretty sure about where we're going in 2019. I mean, okay, granted, technically there's a couple days left, but I'm not so sure we're going to hit that Bitcoin all-time high of close to 20 grand. Mike Novogratz says he believes Bitcoin will end the new year above $12,000. And then he made a bunch of other predictions, which I'm not going to read through here, but I would like to cover something a little bit lower here, because the predictions, by the way, had nothing really to do with crypto. He's making like presidential claims, this and that. I'm not talking about it on this channel. In the short term, a crypto strategist and investor known as the Cryptomist tells her 43,000 followers on Twitter that Bitcoin is not looking so hot at the moment. She says Bitcoin appears locked in a descending triangle that will once again bring the leading cryptocurrency below $7,000. And here's a quote. Previous post mentioned I was bearish. May not see 7,375 as first thought. Imagined was on top. RSI resistance and descending triangle present. $7,000 next, in my opinion. There's the chart on the screen associated with that. Now, next. Here's a tweet from Magic. Now, I got a couple things here. So he's I like covering this guy. I think that I really believe that the way he's covering what he puts out there, it really is based on what he thinks is probable. He doesn't say absolutely I know for sure this is what's going to happen. He doesn't make all sorts of like wacky price predictions. He reads charts and gives his honest interpretation. And he thinks things are not looking so hot. He thinks things in terms of price action for the entire crypto asset class getting much worse. And so here's what he wrote. And he's got over 69,000 followers on TradingView. For a reason. Well earned, I'd say. And he wrote this. The delusional and irrational reasoning from people in my comment sections are all the evidence you need to understand that crypto investors are far too bullish and complacent. If you ignore the danger signs, you'll eventually pay the price. So that's his opinion right there. And next, here's a tweet from somebody named JC referencing Mr. Anderson. Not sure who that is, but I wanted to highlight this anyway. So Mr. Anderson made an interesting point with this, and then there's a little chart I'm going to pull up here. There was no link, otherwise I'd be happy to credit whoever created this, but I don't know. But take a look at this. This was interesting. So here's a chart, and it's the Amazon post-bubble chart, which I thought was just kind of fun since we're talking about crypto prices here. And right where this little arrow is where I'm highlighting, this little arrow, right, the author of this chart wrote, just zoom out, it's obviously lower high in a new macro bear. And then he writes, oops, never mind, it was actually the generational bottom. And you can see what happened with Amazon post-bubble, all the way up here to the top, looking pretty good. If you just fast forward like 20 years. So I'm not saying necessarily that the price of XRP is going to take that long to see those types of percentage returns. Maybe it will. I don't know. But just look, this was a technological boom that took a long time to happen. Amazon was just a part of it. But oh my God, if you held from the beginning days, And that's why for me, I am happy to hold XRP. And if I'm wrong, fine. My life will go on. But I don't believe I'm wrong. I think there's something to this. And I believe, not financial advice, but I firmly believe XRP is going to be worth substantially more than it currently is down the road. Here's a tweet from Patty Stash now. He's a chart analyst who frequently talks about XRP. He's a strong proponent for the concept of an altcoin rally, and he's talked about perhaps the idea of Ethereum leading it. Now here's a tweet that he had today, just a couple hours ago actually. Hard to tell, but here again is that weekly altcoin dominance chart I've been posting again and again for nearly 4 months. I circled it, but that is a essentially flat green candle sitting right on the line with Ethereum pumping today. Maybe it's the push we need to kick off or not. And so here you go. Here's the chart that he had associated with that. You can see this is in the chart, by the way. It's altcoin market cap dominance. And so conceptually, I'm on board with him, not because I pretend to know how to read charts, but because I see that humans are not behaving any different. Well, I shouldn't say not any differently. They're behaving a little bit differently, but not markedly differently than they were prior to the huge boom, the altcoin run in 2017. Tons of these projects that I think shouldn't exist, there's still enough liquidity where it's like, humans really haven't figured this out. And is history going to repeat itself in terms of market cycles? If I had to guess, yes. I don't know that as a matter of fact thing. I'm just sharing with you thoughts. Next, here's a tweet from somebody named Ocean. Is XRP gonna lead the next bull run? Well, DIY Investing retweeted that and wrote this, which I'm on board with. People need to stop with this nonsense. I don't mean that like I said I'm on board with that. I'm not saying that it was nonsensical to ask the question, but let me just read it. People need to stop with this nonsense. I love XRP probably more than most people, but Bitcoin is the driver of value inside this market. That's why I always keep 50% of my portfolio in Bitcoin. Now, he's a trader, mind you. So I'm not a trader. I don't buy other cryptocurrencies. All I buy is XRP now because for me it's just utility, utility, utility. And I don't see utility with Bitcoin, so I don't buy. If that changes, then I'll buy Bitcoin. Fine. Plain and simple, that's what I'm doing here. But like I said earlier on, it still is a matter of fact thing that Bitcoin's leading the market here. The next parabolic run-up we have, look, it can happen seemingly quote-unquote independent of Bitcoin, but I don't think it's going to happen. If I had to guess, the very next one, it's probably not going to happen without Bitcoin running up first, if I just had to guess. But eventually, like I said, there will be a decoupling. I can absolutely see a future where XRP is number one in market cap based on utility when humans figure this out. I'm not going to put a timestamp on it. All right, next, here's another tweet from DIY Investing. We're getting really close to a breakout in Bitcoin. I think it's smart to wait for the breakout of our major descending resistance, but momentum is most definitely showing strength for the bulls here. Watching the daily bullish divergence and the potential inverse head and shoulders to play out. And here's the chart he has associated with that. So ultimately, which direction are we going to go? But in the short term, at a minimum, DIY Investing, I wanted to share that opinion. That is from today, just this afternoon here. So you can let me know what you think below. I'm always curious to hear what everybody else in the XRP community thinks about the direction the market is going. I think it's fun as hell to track this stuff, so I'm always happy to create content along these lines. But I know I'm not the only one interested in this. Most certainly not. And I can tell by the views these types of videos get. I think it's fascinating to track this. And again, not pretending to know which way this is going to go. Still fun to hear the opinions of those that actually know how to read charts and just kind of think about the potential. But I'm still a big picture guy, and I think that ultimately the fundamentals are going to matter most. But I'm not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo!